What's up, everybody? I'm B-True, and today, as you can see in the background, we've got some Naruto to Boruto Shinobi Striker going on. Now, for those of you who haven't seen my newest videos or me streaming it, this is the new game that I am currently in love with and playing a lot of. So I wanted to give you my actual review on the game and sort of my thoughts on what I like, what's okay, and what's not so great about the game. So as I said, I am currently in love with it, but it is far, far, far from a perfect game. So I wanted to just kind of give you all of my thoughts. Now, a lot of people are asking in the stream, is this a free game? No, it is not a free game. This is a $50 game that you can buy either at GameStop for your console, or you can download it on Steam for your computer. So, and if you do play on your computer, make sure you have some sort of a controller available, because the computer controls are very, very rough. Much better to be played on a controller. So anyway, let's talk about first of all, what I find is good about the game, what I really like. And number one, and the reason that a lot of people probably got interested in this game in the first place, is the customization aspect of this game. So this game allows you to create your own ninja pretty much from scratch. Now, when you very first start the game off, you don't have a lot of options available, but what's really nice is you unlock options as you play. So when you first start off, you don't have a lot of clothing, you don't have a lot of headbands, different types of weapons that you can, you know, all that kind of stuff. And as you play, not only will you unlock them through the mentor system, which I'll talk about in a little bit, but you also get random drops as well. And so you're able to unlock a bunch of different outfits. Now, one of the cool things that I really like about the outfits is they're not just for show. They're not just showing, you know, making yourself look cool. It's not just like, hey, everybody's going to wear an Akatsuki outfit because it looks pretty sweet. They actually have stats on them as well, and these stats can help you. Like some outfits increase your ninjutsu. So if you are a ranged character, you have a lot of ninjutsu that you like to unleash, it can increase the amount of damage you do with your ninjutsu. Some allow you to revive faster after you die. Some of them decrease your cooldowns. Like, there's actually an RPG aspect to the outfits, not just, hey, this one looks cool, this one doesn't. Also, they have a lot of variance to the clothing, which I liked as well. So when you unlock, like I currently have maybe 3 or 4 Akatsuki outfits that I can use, and I have the standard Akatsuki outfit, and then I have a couple different variants of them color-wise. So there's one that's like a light gray with blue clouds. There's one that has like purple clouds on it. So, and, you know, stuff that wasn't in the game, but it's just different you know, ways to differentiate yourself. They have different stats on them based on the color. So sometimes the outfit that you like the most, that looks the best for you color scheme wise, doesn't always have the best stats for whatever build you're trying to play, and that is kind of important to keep track of. Now, another thing that I really like about that outfit system is that each one of your classes, so there are 4 classes, there's melee, ranged, defense, and healer. Each one of your classes can have their own outfit, so you don't have to constantly be switching back and forth. You can have these classes set up and ready to go that you can just throw on the outfit for them, and then whenever you choose to, let's say, switch from melee to defense, you don't have to go switch a bunch of stuff. It already has the outfit that is best for that class set up, which I do like a lot. Another thing that I like with the whole clothing, and I kind of touched on, is the RNG aspect of it. Not only is there RNG on the clothing, but there's also RNG on some of the jutsu. So the main way you learn jutsu in this game is through the mentor system, but there are a number of jutsu in the game that are completely RNG related. They'll just drop from you playing the class that they are associated with, and that way you're able to just unlock like jutsu that kind of come out of nowhere. Some can be good, some can be bad. It's just a little RNG. It makes every single game worth it, because you unlock these scrolls, and the scrolls are sort of like loot boxes, but they're completely free, which is the best part about them. You just have to play long enough, you'll eventually unlock everything. Another thing that I like, especially with the whole missions aspect, is there are certain items that are guaranteed from it's called a Kakashi scroll, but the mission itself does not always drop a Kakashi scroll. So, like, for instance, I'm trying to get the Death God mask right now, as one of the things that I'm trying to unlock, because it looks really cool. However, it is on a certain mission, and I think I've beaten the mission 3 or 4 times, and I still don't have the scroll, the Kakashi scroll that I need to unlock it. So that's something that I like about that. It's not just, you can't just immediately farm. Like, it gives you a farming aspect to the game, but it's not guaranteed farm. So you do actually have to play a good amount to unlock everything. Okay, away from the clothing system, the game itself is beautiful. These next 2 points kind of tie in together, so I'll just put them both. The game is beautiful, and the combat is really, really fun. So together, the combat looks awesome. As you're going around, fighting people. You've got all these jutsu flying around. It looks great. The 4v4 I think is the right number to have. I think any less, 3v3 maybe, but 2v2 wouldn't really be quite as exciting. Any more than 4 people, there'd probably be a little too much going on. So I think the 4v4 was the right decision on the amount of people in the games. The jutsu flying around are... It's not a super overpowered thing. Like, there's still a really good reason to use your melee attacks, to use like your kunai. Kunai actually do a fair bit of damage, and they're really good for disrupting the enemy when they're casting a jutsu that maybe takes a couple extra seconds to cast. You can actually disrupt them with your kunai, which is a nice little balance to the game, whereas in the anime, kunai are absolutely useless. But they found a good use for them in the game, so I do like that. And you have different, you can have smoke bombs, the demon shuriken, you can plant paper bombs. I mean, there's a lot of different options you can use based on your class as well. So those are the things that I really enjoy about the game, the customization, the RNG, the RPG parts, and the combat. So, the large chunk of this game I do really like. So let's talk about now what is just okay in my opinion. So the mentor system to start off with. One of the things that I'm not super fond of about the mentor system is that you get to switch so easily, so often. So I know a lot of people, that is a good thing because you want to learn a lot of different jutsu. However, I personally think it would have been a much more drastic change if the mentor system was permanent. So let's say you pick a mentor and that is your mentor forever. The way it works right now is you can unlock, as you level up and you do missions, you unlock more mentors that you can take on. However, if they would have them all available from the start and then you just had to choose and that is your permanent mentor, they would have to change the system of how you unlock jutsu, obviously, but you could have different benefits for each mentor and reasons why you would want to choose one over the other. I understand the flexibility of the mentor system right now is to make it easier for everybody so you don't have to keep farming up and creating different characters. However, I think it would have been cool if the mentor system was a permanent change. It was something that you had to actually put a lot of thought and planning into, and then it would allow you to farm up multiple different characters. Something like a Diablo or maybe a World of Warcraft, where you have different characters with different classes. You could build them, you'd have to change the way they can build as well. You wouldn't have to have them split up into like strictly defense or anything like that. You can create your own character with, as many ranged or close jutsu, defensive, whatever you want. But I mean, it's not terrible. It is nice to have the option. You have, I think there are 20 total mentors right now, so that is a good number. There's a lot of things for you to unlock from all of them, a lot of strong jutsu. Some mentors you have to level up a couple times just to unlock like the next mentor, the next one in the list. So that is good. It's an okay system. Like I said, I think they could have made some changes to make it more exciting, to make your character even more individualized and customized. But it's definitely not on the bad side. The mentor system works just fine the way it is. Another thing I would say that's just okay with the game is jutsu balance. So there are a lot of jutsu in the game that just don't quite some of them just don't quite live up to other versions, or some of them are just incredibly overpowered. Now, For instance, there's a couple games that I've been in where somebody summoned Gamabunta. And once somebody summons Gamabunta, you pretty much need to go to the other side of the map if you don't want to be instantly killed. I mean, Gamabunta is, and he should be absolutely be super powerful, but he lasts a fairly long time and is launching these toad flame bombs that just completely wipe you and your team out. Contrast that with, there are a lot of ranged jutsu that are just fireball variants of themselves that hardly do anything. They just don't really feel very strong. I do kind of like that some jutsu take longer to prepare than others, meaning that there are some that you can instantly launch and some that you have to weave the hand signals for. It would be cool if there were ways to decrease your cast time. That would be kind of interesting because, you know, in the anime they make a really big deal about, oh, he weaves his hand signals so fast you can barely keep up with him. That would be a pretty interesting balance to it if you could sacrifice some other stats for faster cast times. But all in all, the jutsu system does work out really well. Like I said, a lot of the times you can just cancel somebody's jutsu with a kunai or a well-placed or a well-timed combo, except for ultimates, which I do think is smart. Like, if you had people just canceling ultimate skills with a kunai, you'd have a lot of broken controllers in the game. So that the jutsu balance is just something that is okay in my opinion. Now let's talk about what I don't like, what I think is actually bad about the game. And the number one thing that I have a problem with right now is the class balance. Now, I'm sure that this will change over time. You always have hot fixes and patches to games where they try and adjust the balance, and hopefully they will be able to tune some of the jutsu to kind of change this up. But I've found through the game that so far with how I've played, the game has some serious drawbacks to certain classes. So for instance, we can get right into each one individually. The melee class is very strong. It's a very strong class right now. They have a fairly large range of usable jutsu. I mean, you have the Rasen Shuriken as part of your melee class, which actually gives you a ranged option for your melee character. Now, you contrast that with the ranged character that actually has a melee skill in the Chidori that they can use for the for melee as a ranged character. However, the ranged character does not really want to get in close, whereas the melee character, it's not a big deal for them to stay back. So, meaning the melee character can launch their Rasen Shuriken and then close that distance to the opponent very quickly. The ranged character, when they close the distance with that Chidori, they lose a lot of benefit to their class, and so it actually kind of hurts them a little bit. The Chidori, it's a cool jutsu and all, but it actually hurts your class. Now, melees have very strong combos. They have the ability to continuously lock you up with a combo. They have a lot of very strong up close jutsu that make them really good for objectives, because they're able to actually charge into an objective and launch a couple very strong zone controlling jutsu. They actually start off with the Leaf Hurricane or the Leaf Whirlwind, whichever one it's called, when you first start the game as the base melee class, and that is actually great for charging into a capture point and just unloading that if you have a lot of enemies in there, because you can hit all of them, they knocks them all back, and it's an instant cast. Really, really strong jutsu to just immediately have. Contrast that with the ranged character again, and the ranged character is, in my opinion, very weak right now. Their jutsu are difficult to hit because they don't track amazingly. Some of them track better than others, meaning following the other characters around, but this game is very, very highly mobile, so it's very easy for people to dodge the ranged jutsu. And then when they do hit, they don't really do a lot of damage. They really feel very underpowered in their damage. You would think a ranged character would be much more of a high damage but very low defense and easy to be killed character, which is true. They are easy to be killed with very low defense, but they just don't do as much damage as you would like for someone who's a ranged character. Another issue is their jutsu can take a very long time to get off. because, like I said, you're back to the weaving hand signals for everything, and I've had tons and tons of my jutsu canceled by melee characters that just rush me immediately, and that is something that is, again, part of the issue with the class balance. Now, the defense character, I think they are actually the most balanced of the four. I think the defense character has a lot of good options for zone control, which is great in some of the objectives, and they also have a fair amount of good damaging abilities as well, and their basic attack is very, very balanced. They have larger weapons, they have large AoE attacks. They're not meant for like single target damage like the melee class is, where they're just trying to lock up one opponent in a long combo. The defense character has large AoE ability, or not abilities, but the standard and strong attacks in order to clear out an entire team worth of people. They've got very strong defensive abilities. Gaara has some amazing zone control abilities with his sand shield, and he's able to rain down this damaging sand spell that not only damages but also slows enemies. I think they are the most balanced. You can have a pseudo attack or defense character where it's a little mix of defense and a little bit of attack. You can also have a defense character sort of like Yamato, where you can build full shields around objectives and completely just block your enemy opponent. I realize enemies and opponents are the same thing. But anyway, I think the defensive character is the most balanced. And then the healer is by far the most OP character in the game. When you have somebody on your team who is a decent healer, it's really difficult for you to die if you are around them. Now, obviously, if they're on the other side of the map with other people, you can die just as easily as anybody else. But the healer has crazy, crazy healing abilities. They can heal themselves very well. They have great AoE healing for other people between Sakura or Kabuto. Like, both of them have really, really, really strong healing abilities that you can help out, keep team members alive. They also have a lot of crowd control, which is very helpful in the game, because they're able to paralyze people, which completely stops them cold. They have the ability to cut off your chakra, so it stops you from using any of your skills and abilities, which is very, very damaging in this game. It stops you from like substituting out of. It's pretty overpowered. You don't see a lot of healers just because it's sort of the nature of the game. Everybody wants to be an attack character. Not a lot of people want to be straight support characters. However, when you get a healer on your team, your chance of winning goes through the roof. And I'm not exaggerating by that. It does take a while for you to unlock the good skills for the healer if you plan on being something else. Like, if you plan on being a melee character, you're spending a lot of time unlocking that. You're not going to have a great healer to begin with. But if you put a decent amount of time into leveling up your healers, the virtual mentors, then you will actually have a very, very strong character. And when they do the ranked, if things stay the way they are, when you join in on ranked, if you don't have a healer on your team, you should honestly consider being a healer, because I think that it will be one of the best options that you can add to your team as far as your strategy goes. Final thing that I'm not super crazy about is the way they did the mission system. So you have to level up in order to unlock further missions, which obviously I agree with. That's a good thing. You don't want to put all of the missions out at the beginning. But you have to get the missions from NPCs, and you have to go find the NPCs in the world, which leads to a lot of downtime with you just running around Konoha looking for a mentor or an NPC to give you a mission. And they don't let you know when new missions are available to be picked up. So sometimes there won't be a mission available to you, but you don't know that, so you run around Konoha looking for all the other NPCs to talk to. You have to get really close to them just to see an exclamation point above their head. Now, if this exclamation point was visible from a lot farther away, it wouldn't be an issue. But because right now it's so, you have to get so close to them, you basically have to do a full lap around Konoha to try and find a mentor, just to find out that nobody has any missions for you, and you got to go join PvP to level up a couple times before you have a new mission available. So that is a big pain in the ass, for sure. That is by far the thing that I like the least about the game, is the whole mission system. And it's really not that hard to fix. They could fix that very, very easily. Like I said, just by either giving the player an alert that new missions are available to be picked up, and just increasing the distance. Like, just have that exclamation point present over the character's head from a very far distance away. That's not a big deal. It's not going to break or change anything. But it will give you the ability to see who you need to go talk to get the mission. I'm okay with going up and talking to them to get the mission, but don't make me run around a full circle around the entire map just to find that person that's going to give me the mission. Okay, so that's everything that I have on the game right now. Oh, wait. So, okay, one last thing, sorry. I'm going to classify this under bad, but there's not a ton of things you can do about this, and it's the camera system in fights can get very, very hard to see what's going on, because there's lots of buildings in most of the maps, and your camera can get stuck sort of in or next to a building, and you can't see your own character as you're just getting smacked by people. So you're kind of furiously button mashing, trying to get yourself out of the combo to save your life. But other than that, okay, so that's one more thing for the back. But yeah, all right. For the most part, though, I do love the core concepts of the game. I love the gameplay. I'm enjoying the customization, the RPG aspect. It's a lot of fun. There's still a lot of things that aren't even unlocked and available yet, because the game just launched, and they have a lot of DLC. Probably a lot of new awesome mentors that are going to come to the game as well, with new jutsu and everything like that. So I think the game is absolutely worth buying and absolutely worth playing, putting a good amount of time into, and build that character that you can really fall in love with. And they have a ranked system that you can grind through, just like League of Legends and every other game that has a ranked system. So that's pretty cool as well. All right, that is my full review of the game. Hopefully, if you guys were on the fence, this gives you a little bit more information into the game, into whether or not you should get it. I do personally think if you enjoy Naruto, if you have any interest in fighting games or RPGs, that this game is worth buying. So, all right, everybody. Thank you all for watching. I appreciate you sticking through the whole way. It's a little bit longer, but I had to review everything to try and get my thoughts out there so you know exactly what is going on with the game. So I hope you guys all have a great day. Let me know if you pick up the game or what your favorite parts of the game currently are. I'll talk to you guys all in the next video, and peace.